We just pushed the schedule back a little today. We'll do the same tomorrow and then kind of get back into our normal time on Friday. Any questions?
How come you push it back?
Just relative to the travel back. Yeah.
Sleep, rest.
Just sleep, yeah.
Sean, what's the key to kind of getting Greg Dulcich more involved in the passing game?
Yeah, look, that's a great question. And, we're working through different personnel groupings. We got to keep finding, creative ways where not even just on third down, but first and second down. And obviously last week was a little bit more challenging, but, it's still a work in progress.
When you have a player the caliber of Devontae and you don't know what his status is going to be, how do you handle that?
Learned a lesson in 2013. I probably told you, DeMarcus Ware didn't practice Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday. We did our third down plan. There wasn't, we were 13-0 at this time, and there wasn't the proper attention given to if he would play. And then here it is Saturday night, he's running through the tunnel. Sack, fumble, 3 other sacks. And that same year then in the Super Bowl, Freeney was questionable. And so we're preparing for both those, we're preparing for the starters. And it was just a tough coaching lesson learned back in 13.
Coach, the Raiders are going through some of their drama over the past 24 hours. What's it like? Is there any difference when you play a team that's going through their own thing?
We're really worried about our own house. And I say that there's so many things each, Monday comes, we got some nicks, we got a different game plan. You really focus, I don't want it to sound cliche, but you focus on your own team. Yeah, we pay attention to the other team's injury report throughout the week, just like all opponents do. But, our time and energy is in the building. Otherwise I think it would be difficult.
Sean, as you went back and looked at the film, Bo Nix getting off to a slow start, how much was the weather, how much was others?
Yeah, I think it was a lot to do with the weather, and I think it impacted both quarterbacks. I'm not making an excuse, but it was different. It was difficult, and yeah, I mean, there's certain things, certainly even as a play caller, of recognizing it, but it slowly cleared up a little bit, and I think both teams were able to get into a little bit more of what they wanted to do offensively.
Did you see things in the run game when you watched on film that looked sustainable moving forward? Obviously, you said byproduct for the weather.
Well, no, but I think Tampa, then New York. I just talked about how important the month of October is for teams in our league. You've gotten 4 games kind of on film with everyone, and there's really not this plateau. You're getting better, or it's the other. And so this is an important month of football, and we have to build on that relative to the run game.
And after the game, you said at halftime you felt comfortable and good about where the game was at. Why was that?
Well, you're on the road, and I didn't feel like a high-scoring game played in our favor against that team. And so, but you can't control that. It just was unfolding that way, and I told the players, this is frickin' perfect. It's perfect. And I just felt that way from experience.
Sean, I heard Jake Plummer say that he likes boasting on a lot of good misses, like he's putting wrongly if his guy can get it. He gets it. Can you differentiate between the throws off the mark or he's looking where that is?
Yeah, he's very accurate, and so someone's getting covered and it's low and away. It's a good ball, not a strike versus a good hitter. He's real sharp with his location, and I would say that's something that's been pretty consistent, long before he arrived here. but he's doing a good job getting through his progressions, where he's going. I like what I've seen.
You've talked about the race to get better
Yep.
early in the season. So 4 weeks in, where has this team come the farthest in that race to get better?
Well, I think the last 2 weeks, we've defended the run better and we've run the ball better. That's one thing that I think is noticeable, and that's encouraging.
There's a lot of numbers out there just about the work that Pat has done against
Yeah.
other teams. What have you, just obviously he's a really good player, but what have you made specifically sort of about his play so far this season?
Look, it's like the good news, bad news question all the time. The good news is you just did a great job against such and such. Then what's the bad news? Well, this week it's this, and so there's stress with that. There's certainly man assignments with that, and then how does that play out when it's zone? And generally speaking, the elite corners want that. That doesn't mean their personalities are all the same. Pat's quiet, some guys are, but they generally thrive on that challenge.
Is Tyler Bidet a candidate for injured reserve?
Possibly, yeah.
It's been a rough run for the Broncos against the Raiders. I know it's before your time.
No, but fair question. Look, it's a division opponent. This is our first chance to play a division opponent. Last year, we finished 3-3 in the division. I can't recall a team that has accomplished anything worthwhile, finishing 500 in your division. And then you take a team like Las Vegas, there's a long storied history, and certainly I appreciate that, especially with our fans. And so, it's our job to play our best football this Sunday and get ready to play.
Coach, not only the first division game against the Raiders, but then also alumni weekend, throwbacks. There's a lot of things going on. Do you like that? And do you think
I do. I got 42 tickets also this weekend, so that's driving me crazy. And I don't even know where they're all coming from. One of the things about playing home games sometimes is oftentimes the distractions can be greater. And it'll be great to have our alumni back. It'll be great to see our guys going in the Ring of Honor. It'll be all those things are easy and exciting. And then lastly, it'll be good to have the ticket thing solved.
Did you ever talk to Coach Shanahan, because I know you know him well, about why he just dominated the Raiders? Why he was here?
Not specifically. I know all about the inner workings. As a young assistant in 2003, I was brought out and interviewed by Al for the head coaching job, and really got close to taking it. And then that's a long story unto itself. But Al Davis was real sharp, a guy who there aren't many people that was, when you look at it, was the head coach. He was the GM. He'd been commissioner and an owner. And then Mike and I, in that division, I wasn't as familiar with all the inner workings because I was just been in the NFC my entire career. So, but certainly, what's interesting with good teams is they tend to have success with a lot. You know what I mean? And they tend to play well on the road, and then they tend to, and so he had done a great job with a number of good teams.
I know it's somewhat uncertain if Crosby's going to play, but just when you look at him on tape, what stands out, and then Wilkins as well?
He can bend. He's explosive. Wilkins, you see and notice a lot now, especially, look, he plays the run extremely well, but he's an inside pass rushing problem. That was a good acquisition for them, and he shows up in every game. And then with Max, just especially when those two are on the same side, that Max occasionally will go over to the left side. They just create protection issues when it comes to the clock in the quarterback's head.
Beyond
Regarding him, no. Look, I think still. Yeah, no, I think you're still looking for the perfect picture, the perfect game. You know, I know this Shangri-La doesn't exist, but the execution, the details still have to get better with younger players, and that's what we're working on. You know, because I've said this before: if everyone else can paint the right picture, then you truly get to evaluate and watch a real good quarterback. So it's that mix of running game, passing game, third down. Those are all the things that, look, and it gets back to this month, you know, ascending or going the other way. And we've got to be stepping on the gas right now.
Coach, does the uniform create different buzz around the locker room, and you like that energy? Maybe this uniform's been around, you retired before half these players were even born.
Yeah, no, I love the uniform. It's what I grew up watching, and yet, the players, I don't know if it creates a different energy. But more importantly, you know, the timing is good for the players we're honoring that they wore that uniform.
When you were doing your draft work this spring, what did you make of Bowers, and what have you seen from him, so far?
We liked him a lot. The year I was out, I went out to Georgia. I did a couple speaking engagements, went to a practice. He was an underclassman. The bigger tight end for Pittsburgh was coming out, and I remember watching him and then watching Bowers. My son at that time was a coaching or scouting student assistant for TCU, and this was 3 weeks left in the season. Lo and behold, those two teams met in the championship game. He's one of those joker tight ends that, you know, that can move in space. You can see and feel his football IQ when you watch him play. He's got exceptional hands. He's savvy. And there aren't many players, you know, from Napa, California. I remember in the combine interview just being surprised. But yeah, he's definitely someone that can give you headaches.
Sean, when you have a guy like Pat Surtain, a star on one side of the field, obviously the other guy's going to get tested a lot. Do you see that sort of accelerating Riley's?
I think Riley's accelerating. You know, certainly Riley's aware of that. But I just finished telling Greg, George, and we were just sitting there talking, and I said, man, if you're watching the film of this guy play right now, he is he's playing at a high level. He's long, he's smart, super competitive. One of the traits you have to have at that position is, you know, you're going to fail, and you have to dare to fail and get right back. And I'm really pleased with his progress.
You've talked before about the mental toughness it takes to get out of a hole or an 0-2 start, something like that. Does it take the same mental toughness to keep success going and kind of stacking these wins?
Well, it's week to week. I do believe there's a fine line between a groove and a rut. It's real close either way. And so, yeah, I don't believe we've been in a rut yet, and I don't believe we're in a groove yet. I'll tell you when either happen. All right, thank you.